Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TLU Transfer Experience virtual panel. So at this time, I'm going to have the panelists turn on their cameras. So we are excited that you have chosen to join us for this event. My name is Elliot Powell, and I am the transfer admissions representative here at TLU. So what that means is if you have any questions about the enrollment process, I am your point of contact for those questions. So I'd like to first start with a couple of introductions. So first, I'd like to introduce Tiffany Henley. So Tiffany works with works as our nursing admissions representative, and so she works with students that are applying to the nursing program. So looks like Tiffany turned on her camera, so I'll just have her introduce herself real quick and say hello.
Hey everyone, thanks for attending today. As Elliot mentioned, I work primarily with students interested in our nursing program. And then we also kind of tag team and help students who are transferring over to TLU. Our application deadline is coming up August 15th. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Great, thanks Tiffany. So next, I just want to mention we have 5 students here with us today that are going to be sharing their transfer experience with you. So all of them have been through the enrollment process as a transfer student. So they've been through the steps you are currently going through or you're about to go through. So we know that the transfer process is very unique. And so our hope with this panel is to give you more of an understanding of what it's like to transfer and be a student here at TLU. So I'd like to have the panelists introduce themselves. So panelists, if you could please include your name, your major, and some background on you and your transfer history. So first, we'll start with CJ.
Hello, everybody. My name is CJ. I am a nursing major. I came from San Antonio College. I'm a military background veteran, and I really love TLU.
Great. Thanks, CJ. And then now, Alyssa.
Hey guys, my name is Alyssa Schneider. I'm a molecular biology major going into my last semester here at TLU. I went to Canyon High School just down the road in New Braunfels and attended a 4-year university, Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee for just 1 semester before I transferred over to TLU.
Great, thanks Alyssa. And then Delaney.
Hi guys, I'm Delaney. I'm a dramatic media major. And I am from San Antonio. I went to San Antonio colleges, and then I transferred to Concordia in Austin, Texas, and then I finally transferred to TLU.
Great, thanks Delaney. And then Josefina.
Hey everyone, my name is Josefina. I transferred to TLU from Austin Community College. That was at the beginning of 2018. I started going back to college after being out for over 10 years. There at Austin Community College, and I am a senior at TLU. I'm a nursing major, and I'll be graduating in December.
Great, thanks Josefina. And then finally, Arlene.
Good afternoon, my name is Arlene Aguilar. I am a non-traditional student transfer from Alamo Colleges, and I am currently a senior business management major.
Great, thanks Arlene. So now that the panelists introduce themselves, we'll get started with questions from the viewers. So when you all RSVP'd for this event, you had the option to submit initial questions on the registration form. So we'll get started with those questions first. As we're asking these questions, just be thinking about any additional questions that you may have. After we're done with these questions, we'll be requesting questions through the chat feature, which you'll see at the bottom of your Zoom window. So for the first question that I want to ask the group, what initially made you apply to TLU? Oh, actually, we're going to hold off on that question just real quick. So President Dr. Cottrell just popped into our video feed. Hello, Dr. Cottrell.
Hello.
So in addition to those introductions that I wanted to give, I did want to introduce President Debbie Cottrell. So Dr. Cottrell has served in this role for the past year. Prior to her role as president of Texas Lutheran University, she served as the vice president for academic affairs. In both roles, she's always been very excited to interact and engage with transfer students, and she's been such a great transfer advocate. So she did want to come today just to pop in and say hello and welcome.
Well, thank you, Elliot. And I'm sorry that I'm interrupting what I'm sure is already a great session that I know will be outstanding because of our current students who transferred in and have been so successful here. So thanks to all of you for being on the panel. For those of you who are looking at TLU and looking to come to TLU and thinking about TLU as a future spot for you, here's what I want to say. We are ready to have you here. We are ready to help you be successful, just like these students you're going to hear from. We really are well equipped to help transfer students have a smooth transition into our community. A big reason for this is because we fully understand, as you're going to hear soon, just how much better transfer students make us. We really appreciate the experience and the perspective and the drive and the engagement that transfer students in particular bring to our campus. And so that's how we think about it, that it's not just that you're welcome here, but that you really do make us better. And I always like to say that some schools talk about being transfer friendly, but we talk about being transfer excited because we know we can serve you well and that you can really be a huge part of our community. Now, you know, that means a lot of different things. It means that you're going to have faculty who are eager to work with you and have experience working with transfer students, advisors, faculty advisors, as well as staff advisors who fully understand what transfer students need and what your priorities are. Our registrar's office, of course, the admissions office, and Elliot and the folks that he works with. I mean, just across campus, what you're going to find is a lot of support for helping you get what you need and get where you need to be. So I'm excited about your interest in TLU and about your thinking about becoming a Bulldog. I'm so grateful for that, as well as for these students who are going to be talking to you all today about their experiences here. And I just want to say a warm welcome, and please know how happy we'll be to have you be part of our community. So thank you so much. Elliot, thank you. Everyone, thanks. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, Dr. Cottrell. Bye.
All right, bye.
So we'll get back to that initial question. So the question that I want to ask of the panelists, what initially made you apply to TLU? And we'll start with CJ.
Initially, like I've always, you know, like a lot of nursing majors know, getting into nursing school and looking for nursing school is a very daunting process. And I actually met Miss Tiffany while she was doing a panelist, same thing as this, but for nursing schools at San Antonio College. And I had gotten into some other schools, but Miss Tiffany and Miss Elliott, they really made me feel like more than just like another number. I'm gonna just be another like just another statistic for the school. Like they've answered all my questions, even though I know, you know, I could be annoying sometimes. I asked a bunch of questions before I came here, but they answered every question. And every time that I've ever had a question, every time I've ever had any kind of information that I needed, they've always, literally always been there for me. So I can't thank them enough.
So I decided to apply to TLU because it was a place that was kind of always familiar to me. So I grew up, like I said, in New Braunfels, went to school in New Braunfels, and it was common for us to have band competitions and choir competitions and things like that at TLU. So I was very familiar with it. But after I ended up going to Nashville and having my semester there, I had initially decided that I wanted to change my major to something in the sciences, and that really scared me. And so I felt like I needed to come to a place where I would feel really comfortable and feel like I was getting a lot of attention and support from staff and from the academic support office. And so that's why I decided to apply to TLU, because I felt very supported in my academic ventures.
So before TLU, I went to Concordia, Austin, and I was an education major. And so I was an education major for about 2.5 years. And I realized I was taking a lot of theater courses, and I was really interested and happy when I was doing that. And so I decided I wanted to change my major, but Concordia didn't have anything theater or film related. So I knew that I needed to change schools, and I knew that I really was looking for a smaller community where I could feel like a person with a name and I could talk to my teachers. I didn't want to feel like a number just lost in the crowd. So I came on a tour of TLU and everybody was so nice and helpful and they all knew each other, and just going on the tour, just like walking by other people, everyone would like come up and be like, hello, like nice to meet you. Are you going to come here? And it felt like a very small town community where everybody like was going to take care of each other. And I really loved that. So I applied immediately.
So the reason why I decided to apply to TLU was I actually found the university through a search engine of top Texas, I think it was BSN programs, and I found TLU. I saw the curriculum, I really liked it. I wasn't too sure about the price tag, however, at the time. And I called the office, and within less than a minute, I was transferred over to the director, which to me, I was really floored by that, because I had already talked to other universities, had emailed other people, had called and left messages and no return. So being able to talk to her within less than a minute of me calling, that was pretty big. That was significant. And just talking to her, Dr. O'Donnell really just engaged with me and kind of, set the tone for what it would be. She invited me to the university, and by the end of the meeting, I was sold.
I applied to TLU on a whim. I did not think that I met the standard of student that would be accepted into this private university. I did apply at 3 other universities and I was accepted to all 3 of them. However, TLU was the only university that offered me a scholarship opportunity based solely on my application. It was an opportunity that I could not pass up for sure. And being only 6 miles from my home, it was a no-brainer.
Thank you all. So for the next question, someone asked, so there's a couple questions in this, but I think the thing they're really asking is about scholarships and how to make TLU affordable. So they wanted to know about financial aid, transfer scholarships coming from a community college, and then it looks like they're local to Alamo or Austin Community College. So can you talk a little bit about scholarships or ways that you were able to find ways to help pay for school?
TLU has a really great program as far as scholarship goes. You don't have to do anything extra other than apply for the university. And in the process of applying, they ask you numerous questions that will gear you towards whatever kind of scholarship that you need. And also coming from the Alamo colleges, I was a member of PTK. I also got a PTK scholarship, and then as well as your GPA. So I had a very high GPA and I got a scholarship for that as well. There's a couple other scholarships from being from Texas and all sorts of that. But like I said, again, these are scholarships that you literally don't have to go. Like I know other schools, they make you do a bunch of stuff to get different kind of scholarships, but TLU, it's all right there in front of you. It's not, they're not trying to confuse you. They're not trying to mix your words around. They will literally find you a scholarship for anything that you're trying to do.
Yeah, so like CJ said, I think it's really daunting when you look at like a private university and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's way too much for me. But there are so many scholarship opportunities available through simply your academics that you already have as a transfer student, as well as tons of other opportunities. So for instance, there are performance scholarships if you're interested in band or choir, or Delaney can talk about dramatic media. There's scholarships for that as well. And tons of different things from that to sometimes just within your major, the department will give you a scholarship. Yeah, there's tons of opportunity available. So if that's something that worries you, definitely just apply anyways, because there's so many opportunities, and TLU really, really helps you because they want you to succeed. They want you to come here.
Yeah, so I don't have too much new to add to that, but TLU really does try to talk to you as an individual and find out things that you're interested in. Like Alyssa said, there's band and choir that give you scholarships. Dramatic media also gives you a scholarship without having to be a major in that. And I know for me, my dad is a Lutheran pastor, so I got a scholarship for being a daughter of a preacher. So TLU really does talk to you and get to know you as a person, and then just tells you what you're eligible for, and you can apply for those scholarships.
Pretty much the same as everyone else has shared so far. And within the nursing program, there has been nursing specific scholarships that have helped me. And it has made the being at TLU affordable. So if I would not have thought that it would be, I wouldn't be at TLU, but I'm here. So it's doable, it's possible. And I'm just really happy that I made that phone call.
Like Josefina said a little earlier, the price tag for a private university, not just TLU, but just any private university, is a little bit overwhelming. So when I applied, if I had got accepted, it was going to be just an option for me. So, but TLU and Mr. Elliott right here called me personally to tell me that I was accepted and that I had received a academic scholarship. And I was floored. I couldn't believe it. So I took that opportunity, not even thinking about the scholarship. I just wanted to be accepted, period. And he did, in that call, recognize the fact that I was a mother of 4. I had kept a 3.8 GPA at SAC when I was at SAC, and he just said, it's the progress that you have made as a mom is wonderful, and we want students like you here. So the fact that he acknowledged everything that was on my plate already was amazing to me, and the scholarship opportunity on top of that was awesome. So I pay per semester, just to put some vision into you. I pay per semester less than I did at Alamo colleges for the private university education with the scholarships.
Great, thank you all. So for our next question, I'm actually going to answer this question. So someone asked if transcripts can be unofficial. So if you are applying to TLU, for us to review your file, we can look at an unofficial transcript. Sometimes that's the quickest way to get a transcript to us. So if you do send a transcript to us, it would need to be in a PDF format. So typically on your account online, if you're at a school, it'll allow you to view an unofficial transcript. You'll want to download that and save that as a PDF transcript. If you do end up enrolling at TLU, we would need an official transcript, but to review your file initially, we can look at that unofficial transcript. And so at this time, it looks like we are at the final question from the RSVP submissions. So you'll notice in the chat feature, we're going to start requesting questions through that feature. So if you do have additional questions, we will answer those live as well. So you can send those in through the chat feature. So for the last question, it was, can you discuss living options for new students? So I'm just going to answer real briefly for fall. So if you are interested in transferring this fall, or you're, been accepted, you're still considering if you want to deposit, all of that. For fall 2020, housing has gone down to about 50% occupancy. So we're not doubling up any rooms, and this is due to COVID. So if you are interested in starting this fall, housing is currently full. So if you haven't been assigned housing, it is currently full at this point. So we are approving all students to move off campus going forward. For future semesters, we hope to be able to open up more campus housing, but just right now for fall, it is full for students coming in. So I'll have the panelists talk a little bit more about housing. I don't know who's lived on campus, but the panelists can also talk about maybe off-campus options if they've lived locally. And panelists, if you don't have anything to contribute specifically to this question, you can always say that, and we'll go on to the next panelist. So we'll start with CJ.
Yeah, I've always lived in San Antonio off campus, so I wouldn't have anything.
I also have never lived on TLU's campus, but I've lived in an apartment, sorry, in Seguin. as well as I live in like a little duplex right now that's just outside of Seguin on the edge of New Braunfels. So there are a lot of like apartment opportunities within Seguin. I'm right outside of Seguin and New Braunfels, McQueenie, things like that. So yeah, there's usually not, it's like pretty low cost of living also relatively in these areas. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
So I have lived on campus. This was my first year living on campus, and I transferred in as a junior. So technically I was allowed to live in the apartments that are on campus that are for juniors and seniors. But my best friend was a sophomore, and I really wanted her to be my roommate. So I was like, please, 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 please put us together. So I had to go live in sophomore housing in an actual dorm. But there's a lot of options. And if you do transfer in, you might have to remind them if you're a junior and senior that you are a junior and senior, because for me, it marked that I had only been at TLU for 1 year. So they thought they were going to put me in freshman housing. And I was like, no, I'm actually older than that. So that might happen, but like you don't have to live in freshman housing just because it's your first year at TLU. You can tell them that you're older than that and they'll work with you.
So I'm a commuter, and so I don't have anything to add.
Great. Well, thank you all. So for on-campus housing options, so for transfer students, typically juniors and seniors are assigned to apartment style living. And then we do have some sophomores and juniors that are assigned to more of a traditional style residence hall, kind of what Delaney was talking about. So there are a lot of options. So if you are interested in on-campus housing, feel free to reach out and we can talk with you more a little bit about that. So now we will move on to questions from the chat feature. So So for the first question that we got, what have you gotten involved in and what activities are available to students on campus?
There's a lot of activities that are on campus for students. I'm pretty sure, there's probably some restriction to those activities as far as COVID goes, but I'm a part of numerous programs there. I've always loved it. They have a bunch of stuff to do on campus, especially with me being from California. So I kind of felt out of touch a little bit when I first got there, but the campus is so small and you see the same people almost all the time that you really become like kind of acclimated to everything that's going on, and we have a bunch of nice people at the campus to kind of make you feel at home. So if there's something that you kind of worried about or nervous about, they have this thing called Transfer Socials, like where it's literally only transfer people that can go. They got Commuter Socials, so like they break down, like I said, when you're filling out your application and telling them what you are going to be doing on campus, they break it down and make sure that they find something on campus for you to do. It's pretty great.
Great, thanks CJ. And it looks like Alyssa.
Yeah, so there are lots of different things to get involved in on campus. And one of my favorite things about TLU specifically is that it doesn't have to be something within your major or within your realm to be a part of it. So for instance, I am a science major, but I am also part of the band, which is really cool because when I went to Belmont initially, I didn't get the opportunity to do that. You had to be a music major or minor to be a part of their pep band. But I was on drumline all 4 years of high school. Like, I love to play, and it's awesome that I still get to have that opportunity here at TLU. So part of that, if you're a dork like I am and love to help people learn, then I'm also part of the academic support office as a chemistry SI. So somebody that basically is a tutor and holds sessions for the chemistry classes. So there's like so many things that don't have to be within your major, within your realm of learning, that you can still get involved in because it's such a small campus and you have those opportunities.
Great, thanks Alyssa. So we have another question that came in, and the question was, did your credits transfer?
100%, all of my credits transferred. Yes.
Delaney?
Same answer. Yes, they did like almost every single class that I came in with, transferred in and they took it, but they sit down with you because not every class has the same title at TLU as it does at your other college. So they make sure like that you get credit for those classes and they fill it in whatever way they can. They're really helpful with that.
Great, thanks Delaney. And then Arlene?
So yes, like the other panelists, all of my credits transferred to TLU, and I did not, anything that I had an issue with, it was solved real fast. So all we had to do was talk to the head of the business department, and he was like, yes, it's just gonna transfer right over to this. So we had no problems transferring credits, even those that maybe weren't quite the same, but they were in the same realm. So they took it as that anyways. So it was good. I came in to TLU with 57 credits. So they take that into consideration when they have their own format of core. TLU has their own core of what you need to complete as a freshman and sophomore for graduation. And I did not have to do that because I had so many credits coming in. So it does work. All of your credits work in your favor towards graduation.
Great, thanks Arlene. And then CJ.
Yeah, like the other panelists have said, they actually sit down and make sure that you get every transfer credit possible.
Great, thanks all. So it looks like we do have another question. So what has been your favorite class at TLU? We'll start with Delaney.
So my favorite class was basic music skills for piano. And I really liked that because I had no idea how to play the piano. And it was something I always wanted to learn. And so TLU like just happened to have that class. And I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna learn the piano. And it was really, really fun. And I like that TLU offers such a range of like classes and you can just take whatever you want, even if it's like not related to your major. It can be an elective and stuff. And so you get these skills if you really want them. It's an option. You can go out there and you can learn whatever you want. And that was really fun for me.
Great. And then Melissa?
Yeah, so one of my favorite classes that I've taken is actually anatomy and physiology. So I took it in the summer, which is I think why I had so much fun with it, was because as opposed to having like an entire course schedule of 4 to 5 classes at a time with a bunch of labs and like all these extra things, I had time to just focus on one class for 4 weeks at a time, which was a very different pace than you typically have during a semester. So I really enjoyed that class, specifically anatomy, but also because it was a summer class and TLU offers those, it was really cool to be able to kind of do this condensed course and get to focus on that completely for 4 weeks. So.
And then Arlene?
Mine would have to be Intro to Social Entrepreneurship. Honestly, I didn't know what social entrepreneurship was and didn't even think about a major in it. And as it was one of my classes coming in as a new student at TLU, when you start college, you think of how much am I going to make? What is my schedule going to be like? You look at the material things about it. How's it going to make my life better? Social entrepreneurship kind of changed that for me a little bit. It showed me what can I do to make the world better, to make my community better, to make my city better, to make my TLU better. What can I do to do that for as I graduate? What can I bring to it? So it gave me a different thinking aspect as far as graduation and beyond that. And so now it is my minor. So I will have a minor in social entrepreneurship when I graduate this fall.
Great, thanks Arlene. And then CJ?
Yeah, my favorite class was personal well-being. It kind of taught me how to like sleep better, kind of taught me how to eat better. It just gave me a lot of resources to better my life, and that's a class that you take prior to getting to the nursing program. They have a bunch of classes, and I can't think of them what they called off the top of my head, but like little things that freshmen have to do. You can pick whatever that kind of courses that you want to take. In regards to whatever you're interested in.
And then I've asked everyone, so Josefina, do you have one that you can think of as your favorite?
I do. Complex Nursing 1, because of my professor, Dr. Russell Zients. He was amazing. It was a difficult class. I liked it because it challenged me. It made me grow. It made me think of the why behind everything that goes on when a person is getting sick or they're sick already, or different disease processes that we will encounter. So it was quite the challenge, but nonetheless, the professor made it doable, and I learned so much.
Great, thank you all. So it looks like we have another question that came in. So they were wondering, from those who work part-time or full-time, how many classes do you recommend per semester? I'll probably chime in a little bit on that as well, but if any of you are working and also going to school, if you could maybe talk about that experience. So we'll start with Arlene.
So I was a part-time worker, and I also have 4 children and a husband. So my plate was pretty full. And this last semester, I took 6 classes. So anything can be overwhelming, but you can overcome it. So it really depends on how fast you want to get your degree, and what effort you're willing to put into it. So, and if you're getting financial aid, they require a certain amount of classes that you take. So there's a lot of little things that look into it. But if you're willing to do it, and you're willing to put the work into it, you can get it done.
CJ.
With the same thing Arlene said, I think with financial aid, you have to take a certain number of courses anyway. But I was working full-time at a hospital while doing a nursing program, and nursing already is a very challenging major to deal with. But like Arlene said, if you have the opportunity to challenge yourself and to really test yourself, your professors at TLU, supplemental instructors at TLU, just the library, anything, they do everything that they can to make sure that you're succeeding at the highest standards of going to school. So it will be a little challenging, of course, but I was working 36 hours overnight and then coming to school. So you just got to believe in it.
Great, thanks CJ. And then Alyssa.
Yeah, so I haven't worked full-time during school like CJ has. That's amazing, and I'm so impressed with y'all. But I have worked part-time as a piano instructor, and then also on-campus jobs, and that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit, is that the on-campus jobs are really nice at TLU because obviously they're like academics come first, so they're very flexible with your schedule and in terms of how many hours you work a week. So if you're looking for part-time positions, I've really loved working on campus because of that flexibility that they give you.
Great, thanks Alyssa. And just to chime in on that, I know Arlene kind of talked a little bit about this in CJ. So we typically recommend that students do go full-time just because that, over time, that's going to be the most affordable option for you. We've talked a little bit about transfer scholarships. So if you are, coming to TLU, you'd be awarded some kind of transfer scholarship if you haven't already earned a bachelor's degree. But that transfer scholarship can only be applied if you are a full-time student. And then there's other awards that do require you to be full-time as well. So over time, it's going to be better for you to go full-time if you can, because you're going to be able to apply the most financial aid that way. So just wanted to chime in on that. And then it looks like we have another question, and the question is, any tips for students applying to TLU? We'll start with Arlene.
Sorry, I have a lot to say. Definitely when you apply, take advantage of every scholarship opportunity that you can. When I was at Alamo Colleges, I was a little reluctant to get into the Theta Kappa, I believe it is, PTK, which is an honor society, a national honor society. They wanted $100 and I was like, $100 in my life with 4 kids is a lot. So I went for it anyways because I wanted to honestly give my children, hey, look, I can do this. I'm in the honor society and I have all this on my plate. I can do it. Well, lo and behold, it was the good $100 I spent. So now I get $1,500 as part of my tuition. So it's awesome. Take all of those opportunities, take advantage of them because they're there. Every little thing that you can be a part of it because all of those will add up and give you that much more towards tuition.
And then CJ?
The one thing I would say is don't look at the price tag and let it discourage you. Like everybody has said, it's a private school, so of course on paper it looked like it's going to really hurt your pockets. But like I said, they give you so many different scholarships, so much different money. The PTK, I got the same thing. PTK helps as well, and they really go out of their way to try to make sure that you have the best experience possible at this school.
Great, thank you both. So the next question, and this may be our final question, what is your favorite thing about TLU, or what makes TLU special? We'll start with Delaney.
Okay, so kind of what I said earlier about the small town vibe where like everybody knows each other and is looking out for each other. TLU has a lot of events. Like every day there's something for you to go to and you get a free t-shirt or you get free food. And they really try to build like friendships and communities, and you make connections with people outside of your classroom or outside of your major. So I don't know, my favorite thing that they do, and I talk about this every transfer panel, is they have a sledding hill every fall semester where they bring in like fake snow on a slide, and then you get to go down it, and there's free hot chocolate, and there's like they have like another like snow pit that you can do snowball fights and stuff like that, and it's very Christmassy. It's my favorite thing that they do, and it's so much fun. So take advantage of those opportunities. Go, it's free. Just go have fun and make friends. It's great.
Great, thanks Delaney. CJ.
She said literally everything I was gonna say. Like I said before, I'm from California, so coming out here to Texas was a little. I wasn't scared or nothing, but I didn't know anybody. But there's literally something for you to do almost every single day, every single week. Different kind of programs, different events, and everybody is just so welcoming. Like.
Thanks, CJ. And then Alyssa.
So one of my favorite things about TLU is honestly the relationships that I have with my professors. So like I said, I was a theology and music major coming from my first university, and I had decided I wanted to do biochemistry or molecular biology, something in the sciences, and that really scared me. And I remember walking in to Chemistry 1 on my first day of class, and I was scared out of my mind. I had my Apple Watch went off and was like, your heart rate is going too fast. And I wasn't doing any exercise. Like, I was just so nervous. But all of your professors are so willing to help you and so available all the time. Willing to stay after hours or come early just to talk to you. They're always available. So I haven't had really one professor that just wasn't so supportive of me and so willing to help me learn. And that was really, really important for me when applying to TLU. So that's my favorite thing, is just the relationships that you have with your professors. They're so available and willing to help you.
Great, thanks Alyssa. And then now we'll go to Josefina.
I have enjoyed the commuter socials that they've had because coming in as a commuter, you don't necessarily live close to Seguin, so sometimes it may be a little bit more difficult to engage with the community, with the fellow students. So having those commuter socials throughout was a lot of fun, just getting a chance to meet some other people from different majors and kind of stepping out of the nursing world. That was a lot of fun. And just the small traditions that the university has, like the ringing of the bell after you pass your class and all that stuff. And I miss campus.
Thanks, Josefina. And then finally, Arlene.
So Alyssa touched on a little bit of what I really like about TLU, and that is the teacher-student bond, and it truly is a bond. With the classes size so small, one of my smallest being of 9 students, we really got to know each other one-on-one, and it was a personal relationship. You know, I would get asked, hey, how is your son doing? Because I had mentioned something about them, you know, or how is this going? And it was very personal, and I'd get emails saying, hey, how are you holding up? You know, what do we need to do to change things? How can I help you? Or I see that you're, you know, a little overwhelmed, seemed overwhelmed. What can we do? And that was special to me because my success was important to them, and I felt it. And knowing it and feeling it are 2 different things. So when you feel something like that, it just, it's encouragement. It's encouragement when you're overwhelmed. And TLU and the staff and the professors are wonderful at making you a person. You are a person when you come in.
Great, thank you all for answering that question. I think that's a good question to kind of wrap up with. So I want to thank the panelists for being here with us today. I appreciate you sharing your TLU story. For all who are watching this panel, we are glad that you were able to join us for this event. We hope that it gave you a better understanding of what it's like to transfer and be a student at TLU. I want to mention, if you are looking to learn more about the transfer process, we have a couple virtual events that we offer to transfer students. So the first one would be a virtual transfer admission session. So this session is great if you're trying to figure out more about the application requirements and scholarships. And then also we have a virtual admitted student session. So if you are an admitted student, this is a really good opportunity to hear more about next steps in the enrollment process. And then we also schedule individual appointments through Zoom or through phone. So if you'd like to just talk one-on-one with the admissions representative, me and Tiffany, who you met earlier, meet with students that way, you can set that up as well. So you can register for these on our website, and there is a link that will be provided through the chat feature. So you can click on that link and RSVP for one of those. And then also I wanted to mention, if you didn't get a question answered today, we will be reaching out to students that did attend the event today just to check in and see if you have any additional questions. So know that we will communicate with you within the next week. So if you want to think about any additional questions you have, we'd be happy to answer those. So thanks again for coming. We hope that you stay well, and we hope to see you at TLU soon.